Hi, this is Jenny Clark with Solvability, and today we're going to be talking about what's up with Mitch again. So, what is up with Mitch? Mitch is my client that calls me from time to time and says, "Hey, I need this information." That's the part of the reason we set him up on an annual program, because there are certain things that we're doing on as a here are our objectives for the year. And then there's certain things that I just said, Mitch, I want you to text me when that comes up. I don't care when you do it, but don't agonize over these little things because I'm your sounding board. I'm also going to be the one that if I hear that question, I'll be able to tell you whether we should worry about it, if we need to take more action, or what we need to do. Just think of me as your business partner. But I don't want any stock or anything. So what's up with Mitch? He's asked me today, how will it affect our profit when our health insurance goes up by 20%? Wouldn't you love to be able to put your health insurance increases into your fringe rates? But it's really funny, whenever you submit your rates, if you were to bring it up to your customer that our rates are going up by 20%, would they take an action? Would they say, oh, you can just bump up your rates, we'll be fine with that? No, you're in a competitive zone. They're expecting you to absorb all that. Well, that's a big chunk to absorb early in the process. But here's the things that Mitch and I talked about today. His first question is, have we shopped around for other options? You know, it's a pain in the neck to change your health insurance provider, but definitely you need to check it out. There are even companies now that are doing more self-insurance or doing kind of a mix of risk in order to keep their health insurance premiums down. But definitely you want to shop around. It seems to me that the first year with a new carrier, things are great. The second year is when they jack it all up to make up for what they underbid the first year. But I don't know if you've experienced that. Mitch's second question is this the best we can do? You know, he wants to take care of employees, but at the same time, he's got to manage that cost, and he's just not really sure about the best option. So what we did, and I reminded him of this, hey, Mitch, when we did this last year, we kept all of our notes about what we went through and how we did it. Let's go back to that checklist because you insisted that we have a lesson learned, and that's what we went through. Let's go through that list and make sure we've done everything we expect of ourselves. Mitch's third question is, should we increase the employee deduction? You know, it's hard anytime you increase the cost to the employees because they signed up under one plan, and when you change it, they feel a little slighted. They feel like, I didn't agree with that. It's the same thing as, you know, they signed on and they're hoping to get a certain percentage increase by going through performance reviews or whatever. And most of them, of course, know government contracting is a lot different from private industry in how decisions like that are made and how it has to be priced into the contract. But yeah, it's always touchy when you've got to decide whether you want to change the employee deduction. The other thing you could do is change it just on the family plan, or you could make it so that you're offering an additional coverage. A lot of times people will add an insurance benefit that doesn't cost very much, so it's free value add to kind of offset it or reduce the pain. And, you know, you were talking about 401k and 401k match. The paperwork's almost done. Why don't we take a look at that? The other thing we could look at is a Section 125 plan, so we could make this pre-tax because it becomes cost effective about 25 employees, and you're almost there. Can you believe that? So Mitch's fourth question is now the time to set up one of those cafeteria plans so it's more pre-tax? And sure, that's the question we were just talking about. What pre-tax does for us is it takes a certain amount of the employee's salary, let's say $100,000 for the whole company. They do pre-tax. That means that you're saving as a company paid employer match 8% of that $100,000. So it's a cost savings to you as an employer too. That's the way cafeteria plans work. It also gave people more choices, and they were really happy about that. You didn't have to guess, okay, is this the best benefit package I can do? You gave people more options because you had a way to do that. And then Mitch's last question is, how do we keep benefits strong so we don't lose people? Hey, this is a huge concern. You've got people that are working across the aisle from people at other companies that would love to have somebody with security clearance already in place that's already known by the customer pulled over to their company because you invested all the time in finding that employee, bringing them along, and it sure is cheap for another employer to take them away. So you got to keep your benefits strong. And Mitch, you've done that. And I think people really like a lot of the camaraderie that you've created in your group. I think that they understand what you're doing, that you have their interest at heart. But I agree with you that we need to have an ongoing program every year to do some things that really keep that team cohesive. And Mitch, I understand when you say you just want it all to work. Let's do that. Mitch is unstoppable. Are you? You know where you want to go. Solvability can help you get there with the cost and pricing intelligence you need to accelerate and scale your business. Most of our clients get started with our free wrap rate calculator. What that does for you is say, here's your pay rate. What is your fringe, overhead, and G&A and profit to apply to come up with your fully loaded rate, your fully burdened rate, your wrap rate, whatever you want to call it. What are you billing the customer for? You can also use it the other direction. A lot of times you know what the billing rate is because you're looking at a GSA schedule, or you know what they were paying the previous contractor somehow. And what you want to figure out is, okay, if that's the billing rate that applies, then how do we know how much to pay, we can afford to pay that new employee? And that's what the wrap rate does when it lets you calculate forward and backwards. If you want to get started with solvability, go to solvability.com and download the free wrap rate calculator. It's a spreadsheet, but it also comes with some explanation and information about how it works, because even though it's got percentages in there, we have to figure out what the percentages are for your company. You can always, though, text me at area code 256-882-6276 and set up a call today. Let's talk some more. There's a lot of services that I can offer. It depends a lot on where you are in your life cycle and what you need to accomplish, what your timeline is. So I'd love to hear from you. My number again is area code 256-882-6276.